That's what is the intent of this webinar. First, I'll talk about hybrid power, then I'll take you to your own house solar rooftop or your factory or whatever, because that is also one of our main interests. But sequence wise, we'll first talk of hybrid power. Okay, I have already talked that utilities have shown resilience, and very frankly, they are really the warriors. We must also, what happens if our supplies fail? Now we are looking for distributed power generation and consumption. If it is solar rooftop, you generate at your rooftop and you consume. There is a company called DESI Power, which is Distributed Energy Supply India, that's in Bihar. It is being run by one of the ex-directors of BHEL, because he is from Bihar and he is now a Swiss national. He wants to serve the people of his state. So he is generating power from solar and biomass. Now we have to align all these strategies and think what we can do best for our country and ourselves. Hybrid started long back. Uh, in islands, we have diesel power, and we had put in 1996 we had put solar power also. That little bit is biomass. But today, what we common man understands, the hybrid is solar and wind. That's most common. But I'll take you a little further than that. So more than two renewable energy sources together to make the system efficient, because generation of solar power is at a different time, generation of wind power is at a different time. The two curves, two U curves uh, are inverted to each other and makes the supply something more or less a straight line. Then some of you might have heard, I don't know how many have, a project was likely to come in India, which has not come, but it has come into other places in the world. That is a gas turbine. Out of gas turbine exhaust is combined cycle, and then solar, mirrors, not solar PV. From solar mirrors, you produce hot water and then store the energy in the molten salt. It was coming to something around 140 megawatts of power, but total cost was something around 800 crores. Government was saying yes, they will give money, and finally it failed. Combination of two or more powers, including battery storage, also becomes a this what is hybrid power. This battery is getting adjusted by the utilities at distribution level, so that they can keep the peak load shaving, or leveling, load leveling, or voltage and frequency regulation. One or two cycles frequency they do not want it to happen, because there is a penalty for that. This is what I was talking to you about, the combined cycle plant with solar. See, this is our normal cycle, gas turbine cycle. Then this is a solar plant, mirrors type. Uh, this black tubes in front of the curvature mirror contains liquid, which is which holds a temperature of something around 350 degrees centigrade, and then that is sent to heat exchanger, from where it also goes to the heat recovery of the steam cycle, and then goes to the steam cycle. So this is also a hybrid. Now, this is a view of Andaman Nicobar. When the winds blow, the trees, etc., are uprooted like this. And now they are thinking of solar plant in the sea along with the batteries. This is the view of the solar plant which they are intending to put. And the tariff they have already fixed. It will not be more than 8 units per kilowatt hour. Now it has to be, quoted against this figure. Some people will quote 750, some people will quote. It is actually not engineering, it is more of financial engineering here. Now, coming to another part of it, we have seen where the solar is quite high, the brownish, uh, like this, brownish shape indicates the high solar intensities, and the blue ones is the wind. Wherever the pocket near Cochin, there's a lot of wind is there. So like that in UP also there's a lot of winds there. So the combination of the two, I'm not saying the wind is not there, other parts of solar is not there in other parts, but that this is the intensity all over India. This is the curve of solar, how the solar is generated. Why I have written Australian time, because when I got the curve, at 8 o'clock also it was showing a solar generation, which is normally not there in our country. That's why I thought it should be Australian time. So this is the solar curve, how the solar is generated throughout the day. And this is the wind curve, back to back. And the total power generation from these two together is something like this, the green one. Okay. Now, these are high wind hours in the night. The wind is generated like this, but in the day also you will see the rotors are running very slow and there is some generation throughout the day. But solar power is generated during the solar hours. It starts with the diffuse light. Okay, and this becomes the energy demand. If the energy demand is there, you have to see where these two curves fit in. Supposing we put the battery backup also, when the solar start generating, there is a solar energy stored in the battery, right? Solar energy generation is 6, 7, 8 hours depending on the place and the angle. Then after the batteries get charged, they start supplying power to the load, and this is how the battery will get discharged finally. When it is charging, the yellow curve shows it is getting charged, right? If green is a curve which was the original demand, because of this energy met from the battery, the balance demand has been reduced. Okay, when we are supposing the green curve is the price of electricity and the blue is the demand, all the industry people will like that costlier power will not be used by them. So if they can shift this curve over on the left hand side or this curve over on the right hand side, so that consumption remains the same and they come in the lower tariff matters, a barrier. So either they should shift the load or they should put and uh, adjust the load because of solar. Another is by peak shaving. The top of the curve above this horizontal line has to be removed. Can be removed by reducing the load, or can be removed by uh, shaving it off, or can be removed by supplying it by battery, right? Now at distribution level, I'm talking about say a utility in Delhi or utility in Chandigarh. What do they do from solar? Because in main cities getting wind power is difficult, so they will put up solar plants and charge their batteries. Battery bank. The two together make a DC bank. The whole of this power, whether received from solar or received from batteries, is converted to AC and then supplied. And wherever there is a sudden increase in demand, it will get adjusted, frequencies will be adjusted. In fact, there is a curve which I could not locate immediately. You just think of your own houses in Delhi, at least I know, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the electricity load starts shooting up. Why 1 o'clock? I'm talking about summer. Why 1 o'clock? Students have started coming back, mothers are also back, and then the cooking range, cooking oven, TV, electrical gadgets, everything will start simultaneously. So around 1 to 3 is a peak. Then suddenly some people will start sleeping. Some AC will be, put off because two will be together. Things like that. So it's a curve. I mean, it's nothing of my imagination. Okay. So we have talked of wind and sun, and now we have also talked of batteries. Batteries are useful in various areas, but we have yet to get adjusted to the software part of it. How battery takes over, when does it take over, and how much should be the price, regulatory and policy framework. Last time when Rajan Saab gave a lecture, somebody commented, let us talk to the government. Something was not available on solar and things like that. It is not the government who is looking after all these things. Yes, they are facilitating, but every state has got a regulatory commission. If you are able to go and convince or put up a petition that you want all these things to be settled, and we have got many things settled, things will be in favor of the uh, place you are staying in. Smart grids, smart cities, renewable integration, because there are some gaps over there. Again, batteries will come. Now, again, imagine the data center and IT offices, suddenly power goes off. I think we crash. Sometimes somebody was talking day before, IRCTC site is not working. So power is very important. Telecommunication infrastructure, mobility. In fact, now today, drones and medical devices have started working on batteries. Now, I'm showing you something. The battery plus solar. There is a hotel in Maldives. That costs about $3,000 a night. That is totally on solar plus battery backup. So this is a small video on that. Okay, now it has become 3,000. Previously it was 595. So it looks from the top is like this, and they have scheduled like this. Next source of power is wave power or tidal power. This is the map I got from here, where tidal power is potential, and they have also put up some plots for that. That is very useful for the people staying nearby or by the navies. When there is a submarine, nobody would like to identify where the submarine is, but submarine batteries need to be charged again. And from where do they get power? Supposing submarine has come near to the shore and they are charging it, the whole world will know. So it is right in the center of the stream somewhere where these plants are there and batteries get charged. Just to give you a little idea about how does it work. See, the waves are putting it up and down, and the generators are going up. So just to give you a feel of, okay, Now coming back to the necessity, I'm purposely talking to you about islands because your house, my house, urban areas might not be as difficult as are these islands. Till now, the power is generated by diesel engines, and diesel is all transported by sea. In fact, some of their islands are in so distant or remote areas where even boat cannot go because unless there is enough water, boat cannot go. So what they have to do, they have to throw a drum into the sea, push it by swimming, and carry it to the island, and then start the generator. And imagine the cost of generation when diesel is 61 rupees 39 paisa because they get subsidy on diesel. So their rate is about 28 rupees per unit. Now nobody will be able to buy it or sustain. So what they have done, they have kept the tariffs like your area, my area, and but the government has to give a subsidy of something around 539 crores in case of Andaman Nicobar and some 93 crores in case of Lakshadweep. So if we are able to remove this diesel power and substitute it by solar power or wind power, but that will be nothing like that. But here we have some issues. As far as islands and off-grid applications, everybody is happy how the things are going. Household solar people are happy. But how do we smooth the curve from one application to another application? That is the challenge of our hybrid power. Fast regulation is required. That is, we are not able to, meet that requirement. So solar power in India is a pseudo-mature market, highly competitive, but penetration is less. Let me tell you, I have attended few seminars where even the Secretary of Ministry of New and Non-Renewable Energy Sources is there. So people and consultants and various high officers are sitting. There's one standard question which normally I will ask them. I said, I know the Secretary MNRE has got solar on his rooftop, but how many others have got over here? So there was a gathering of about 100 people, and only two hands got raised. I said, we are talking about the solar solarization of the India, but we ourselves have not put it. What is the reason like? No, we are not finding time. This, that. In fact, it was met like that. Okay, so we need energy storage solution regulations to meet all this. Now, so far, what I have talked to you is how grid power systems operate. This is biomass power generation plus solar in some of the factories in Goa. In fact, in Andaman Nicobar, there is a lot of coconut, but question is, it is normally wet, so handling it is a challenge. So what remains is the solar power the most. But trouble in islands is cloud cover is too fast. That means battery backup has to be there, very important. This is what uh, I have covered in on hybrid power. And if you think we can go straight to our next portion of how the solar power or how does it cost and what are the regulations, then we can take the questions together. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, everybody, all of us who are attending the seminar today have something in our mind that we need solar for our home, maybe my factory, maybe my office, maybe I am trustee of a temple or Arya Samaj or Gurdwara or NGO or my community or group housing society. In fact, applications are many. All of us are thinking have some apprehensions which I will try to clear today. Okay, to clear those things, I will first talk to you about average power purchase cost of individual distribution company. Some charges are there in Chennai, something is in Maharashtra. Maharashtra, there are many circles, so some circle will have some average power purchase price. So that depends upon from where they are sourcing the power. Are they sourcing it costly or cheaper power, or whatever government has allocated, they are just using that. So the sum total of the amount spent and sum total of the power purchased is the average power purchase cost. Here also some of the utilities are inefficient. They don't tie up for on the long term basis. But there are some utilities who have tied it up for a very very long time, and now power available is cheaper. So it's a catch. So average power purchase price is what you have actually spent. Now, second is connected load or contract demand. In fact, when we set up a solar plant on our rooftop, or how it has to get connected to the grid, up to what limit? So some people say 70% of the connected load, some people say 100% of the connected load, some people say only 15% of the connected load. Till about 2 years back, most of the utilities, most of the discoms were saying 30% of the contracted load. So I used to ask them from where this 30% has come. Can you tell? No, no, we just we have adopted Maharashtra. Somebody will say I have adopted Karnataka model. Some people will say something like that. Here, one has to be very meticulous. I remember about 3 years back there was a seminar, and one of the persons from PGCIL made a presentation on solar, and he talked of many features which I am going to talk to. And I asked him, "Have you visited all those foreign countries you are talking about? In Canada, this is so. In Australia, this is so." He said, "No." I said, "Where from you got this data?" He says, "I got it from web." Perfect. I said, "Why didn't you see the regulation which we have made when I was there? I had developed a regulation and brought in many features which are now becoming part of various regulations, which I will request in case it is not there in the regulation of the state, kindly approach the regulatory commission. Of course, there is a fee for filing base, but on renewable energy, it's very minimal fee. So connected load I have talked about. Next is community net metering. I am staying in a group housing society. So how do I put a solar plant because the roof belongs to somebody else? So how do I set it up? In fact, Chandigarh has gone a step further. They said put up the structures, steel structures up to 7 feet, and on the top of it put solar plant. It is everybody's space. It is not the only fourth floor or third floor space. That's fun. Secondly, in Delhi, government of Delhi has come up very nicely on this. There are group housing societies which have been given connection only at one point. After that, there is a distribution internally. Now, that one point distributes power for their sewage plant, for water plant, for the lights in the stairs, for the lights in the garden, the walkways. That power is very expensive, something around 11 rupees a unit or something. So what they done, they put up a solar plant. In fact, 14 factories in about near Gurgaon area, sorry, near about Dwarka area already come up like this. 13 was a figure about a year and a half back. So I do not know about this today. Second is sometime when you are talking to your discoms, some people may refer a term called presumer. Presumer is nobody else other than the somebody who produces electricity and is a consumer also. Like if you start producing power on your own rooftop and start consuming also, so you become a presumer. Third party owned. You and me, we do not want to get into who will get it cleaned and who will maintain it. Why should I spend money on this? Okay, I lease out my roof to somebody. Okay, you generate power and sell. You give me 5 rupees per square foot area covered or 20 rupees, depending on what area you are in. Ah, what you can do, you can supply me power at 4 rupees, rest all you give it to the discount. So you can do many combination like that. Then it can be even done for your land. You have a waste land lying and you can lease it out to somebody. Okay, start. But all of us are afraid that tomorrow what happens, the fellow will not remove it from the roof or from the land. What do I do? Of course, agreements have to be done like that. Virtual net metering is a new concept. It is, of course, not known to many people, but quite interesting. I have no space near my house or on the roof of my house, and I located another abandoned house where I put up a solar plant or abandoned structure, and there I lease it out from anybody. Solar is owned and feed the energy generated into the grid. So there is a meter over there. I have fed supposing 500 units a month. Now I can consume at my place 500 units a month. If it is more than that, I'll have to pay. If it is less than that, then whatever is uh, not consumed is left out, and it is allowed. In fact, in our areas, it is allowed. We call it banking. That you can keep it in the account of Electricity Regulatory Commission, but oh, sorry, the DISCOM. But at the end of the year, you have to clear your account. If you are positive, you will be paid, of course, at a PPC price. That's what. That's why I brought this down to the front. Then open access restrictions. We are exempted. Now I have produced power elsewhere. There is no connection between that place and my place by a wire, electricity wire to be drawn. It is put in there. It is about 20 kilometers away from my house, and then I consume it from wherever I am. So somebody may start calculating, oh, it has taken say about 27 kilometers circuitous route, so you have to pay for the charges. No, it is not leviable. It is not allowed. Now, there are methods. Supposing you have put on net metering and then the meter stops working. So normally what was the power generation last year during those months has to be, but there is a limit. It has to be done up to maximum 2 months or 3 months. After that, you have to get it changed. Somewhere on the top, I have left gross metering versus net metering. Net metering is how much you have produced and how much you are consuming net of that. And gross is to keep on go on producing and supply it to the distribution company. Now, as I said, the bottommost of the bottom, we are interested in our housing society, domestic, factory, industry, temple, religious temple, etc., etc. Now here we had brought in, I do not know how many of you have seen Chandigarh. Chandigarh markets are perfectly flat rooftop. There's nothing, there is no haphazard. One shop is two floors and one shop is only on the ground floor. A perfect single ground floor mountain. So there, what we did, we allowed them to put up a combined solar plant. There are many ways to consume it. One is everybody will start getting their money proportionately how much money initially gets set. But those shopkeepers are quite rich enough, they are not bothered. There is lighting to be done in the corridors in front of their market, etc., etc. So they can connect all those things, or in fact, the bus stands, sorry, the car parking stands near to their place. So we are all interested. In fact, I have got two temples also done. I have solar rooftop on my house itself, but I have got the temples also done. Okay. Now, some of the caveats I'm saying, quite often we were confusing between off-grid and on-grid. Whatever gets connected to grid is on-grid, and whatever gets connected to off-grid is off-grid. And one in the farmhouse or one in the farmer's place. Then some people get daylight hours or sunlight hours. The difference is the diffuse light. If your solar is start generating during that. Next is estimating power consumption. What is the simultaneous load in your house? So that will decide how much load you should get connected for the solar and how much do not. The first thing I will suggest you going for energy saving lamps. Every single lamp, most of the people what they do, okay, when this tube light gets fused, I will change it. Or what do I, how do I change it? Because I have a problem. My sockets are threaded type. So what do I do this time, right? Or this time, sockets converters are available. If you go online buying, they cost you something around 100 to 200 rupees depending on Amazon or whatever. But in market like Delhi, it's not available in every shop, but there are certain markets. They are available for 30 rupees, 40 rupees range. So every single house, every single bulb of your house needs to be energy saving so that you reduce load. I'm telling you about my experience. Define load before buying your solar plant. Okay, when people set up a plant, they have unreasonable expectations. Oh, my capacity utilization factor is very low, but they're not, concerned that their solar panels are getting dirty. In fact, my house number is 88. There is a construction going on in house number 86. That is now. Previous to that, there was just a house behind my house. There was a construction going on. So construction going on means it is total demolishing and then rebuilding the whole set. There has to be dust, and I cannot send somebody or I cannot go myself for cleaning of this. So I know what are my problems. So my expectation, oh, your plant is giving higher and my plant is giving low. We have to go what we need. Then, if the heating surface, that means we have put the solar plant on the top of a tin shed, the bottom will become heated and the energy generation will be reduced. Then somebody installs incorrect angle, that also will give. I'm not reading out all this to you, you will get it. So the factors that impact the solar PV output is your climate. One question everybody keeps on asking, yeah, payback kitna hai? And then after that they stop thinking about it. And I say 5 to 7 years. It actually depends on which slab of tariff you are in. So it's about 5 to 7 years, right? So it is. Another question is, should I get the battery or not? In normal case, if it's a normal house, you need not have a battery because the battery backup is being provided by the distribution company. Why should you have it? Unless and until you have a critical application. Oh, what happens? I have a nursing home running at my place, and my solar also goes off, the supply also goes off. Then where do I go? Then is the battery backup. Sizing is important too much or too little charging also ruins the battery, then we are not too sure whether I should put 10 kilowatt plant today or 20 kilowatt or only 1 kilowatt. The good part is it is a modular system. Get confidence, put a smaller one, and then go ahead. So you have to think of that ahead. And then lithium versus lead acid battery, a lot of discussions are going on. Yes, most of us are engineers. Why not if I buy the battery and why not if I buy the panels and connectors and do it all by myself? I will save. Uh, I think it is not worth it. On my house, there is a solar plant of 1.92 kilowatts. I wanted 2 kilowatts, but panel size available were like that. Inverter is 2 kilowatt. So one day I was observing the efficiency of my inverter was less. I asked the supplier, he said, unless you put it equivalent to that, I mean around 2 kilowatt, efficiency will be like this only. And at one time I had decided to add one more panel, but of course I couldn't do it. So if it is a complete system, you can talk to somebody, but if it is an individual system, you cannot. Here I want to just give you a very word. This is a gentleman, he's in Puducherry. He is professor Asian Institute of Technology. He set up a solar plant at his house 19 years back in 2001, and it is running. And he is zero energy man because he converted his car into battery run car. He has a scooter which is battery charged. He, his wife cooks on solar, right? He has induction furnace. That means he is not importing any power. And 18 years back, of course, the grid connection was on. Not there. He got grid connection only a year and a half back. Okay, actually, I had put in a lot of effort on creating this curve, but somehow that got deleted uh, because I had not kept anything on that. I thought it is black, I deleted it. So the blue curve is the electricity load in your house. Supposing it's a typical. You get up in the morning, you start putting some lights, and then you put the geyser on, then something like, then you sleep, then things like that. This is the whole day curve, and this is the red one is solar generation on your rooftop. This dip is okay. Some cloud has come over here, right? So wherever the blue curve is higher than the red curve, you are getting power from the grid. And wherever here the red curve is above the blue curve, it goes to the grid and you get credit for that. So your bill will get adjusted. So this is net metering. Let's go green, right? Now I'm showing you one of my this is the electricity bill of my house. You will be surprised to see these rates. They are nowhere in India. Why they were made so low is not only political, there was political compulsions also. See, when the government came, they reduced the rates. That means the total load of electricity revenue will go to the industries. Very expensive. So they said, okay, we reduce the rates for the lower income group people, and these will be the rates. In fact, when they announced last time, about 2 years back, it was 4 rupees. This 3 rupees was 4 rupees 30 paisa or something. To compensate, they said we will pay 50% of the subsidy for that. And government found it to be, an intelligent move. If they reduce the tariff of lower units, they have to give lesser subsidy. So they look like that. These rates look like that. But here, I will, there is a catch which I'll show you. Just these are other rates if you are interested, to see. These are rates of Delhi current for this year. Okay. Now this is my last month bill. If you see, this PPAC, power purchase cost, they have to add something around 7.94%. That's the that was fixed for the month at which electricity was what. Then time of the day metering goes how many units are during peak hours, which normally residential houses do not opt for time of the day metering, but for others, for industries, it is compulsory. So time of the day metering, so much percentage is written in the bill. In my case, it is zero, so they are not indicated. Then electricity tax is, sorry, surcharge is 8%. I should, okay. Surcharge is 8%. Electricity tax is 4%. So what you are seeing there, 3 rupees, is actually not 3 rupees. Then there is a pension surcharge when this utility was privatized. So there are some people who are to be given pension when they were working in government before. So this is trip. So total about 18% is over and above the tariff they have indicated. So just please do not go by the tariff. Now, in because I told you I didn't have data, I had created this chart where I located in 2013. So I was not able to get the whole data, but what I did, I had taken the data for just yeah, year 2020. It is something around 0.08 US dollars per kilowatt hours today is the rate of electricity when you generate with this. I was comparing it with that of diesel-fired power station where the rate is as high as you are able to see. Okay. At what rate the utilities buy the electricity when we say these people are looting us or cheating us or whatever. This is the tariff rates of 1819 and these are monthly average rates depending on the month whatever it is. They had marketing and the yearly average is 4.32. Why I have shown you this to have a feel of at what rate we are getting, at what rate industry is getting, and why the difference. Now we are going for the next part of it, the application part of where we can set up these plants. This is a picture taken at Dew. There's a hill at the edge of sea, and it's a tourist spot in front of that, and they have put up solar plant over that. The total solar plant capacity is 9 megawatt, and they also put about 2 megawatts on their rooftops, office rooftops, etc. 1 kilowatt is miscellaneous, some private people. Total 12 megawatts are available in Dew, and their peak consumption is 9 kilowatt. Supposing on a day the solar generates the maximum 12 kilowatt, 12 megawatt means 12 megawatt. What do they do? So they have tied up with Gujarat, which is adjoining state, to give the power to them because otherwise they have to get the power from them as far as utility is concerned. This is another view just to show you how the hill rooftop looks like. And this is at the edge of the sea. Okay. Now, there is a solar plant which has been installed over there in Chandigarh. It is in a lake. And why this was required? Reason was in the lake there were fish, and unless oxygen is generated, the fish will die. And in fact, there was a lot of casualties. So they had put a 10 kilowatt solar plant. Oh, sorry. Uh, the beautiful part is, see, it is rotating on a vertical axis, change the angle where you want to fix up. Unfortunately, this slide is not. Oh, I'm talking about the bottom one. For something that media is not available for this. So this is horizontal to vertical. So these get adjusted in both the angles. A 2 megawatt floating power plant is operating at Visakhapatnam. See, we are talking about 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, like that, but on a larger scale, this is available. At one time, whatever is installed on water bodies, it was not covered into the definition. Nobody will pay for it, so now it has been covered. This I have shown you by chance over there earlier. This is 11.5 megawatt solar plant. What somebody has done, there is a area Bias near Jalandhar. In fact, it is in Bias between Jalandhar and Amritsar. They created a roof, not rooftop. They created a roof for their disciples, which is 42 acres area, and they have put up a solar plant over there. In fact, now some 14 megawatt has also come somewhere. This is a picture of what is community solar, and there are different parties who are contributing to this, and their benefits will be shared by them. These are other applications of the solar. You might have heard that we can use a pump from solar, but I have seen a beautiful like example in the Chhattisgarh. This type of thing is installed for a school. So that means water is available to the school children, and then they have also put up a RO plant. Now RO has got good water and a bad water. So bad water they are storing for their washrooms, and this is another off-grid application. This is for the water pumps, but what government has done, wherever grid has come, so they say you generate your own power for your pumps. If there is surplus, because they are not doing watering to their plants or irrigation throughout the year, then you can give it to grid and you will be paid. They are even paid at the rate of 9 rupees. I think that Gujarat is paying 9 rupees. This is another application of solar rooftop, was again a building in Chhattisgarh. Right. Beautiful part is government is putting some efforts on. It is almost 1 o'clock. Sorry, 12 o'clock already over there. So I'll take I think 10 15 minutes more. Okay. Solar plant. This is a solar plant on the top of a water tank, and beautifully the petitioner called it rooftop. Now we were not able to imagine how 15 megawatt will come on rooftop. That means it requires something around 60 to 70 acres of land. But then when he showed the water over here is stored in underground tanks, comes from Bhakra, and the whole of Chandigarh gets stored over here, and then there are solar rooftops. The DISCOM was not ready to help them, and then this petitioner came to us as again government department came to us. People want to put up. Uh, the hassle was if it is rooftop, you cannot connect it to the grid if it is more than the connected load. So when we saw that there were three transformers available over there, each of 5 megawatts, so we distributed the load. So we kept DISCOM also happy. Otherwise, the petitioner wanted to go take the power to another kilometer away on a higher voltage transformer, but I mean just to avoid the head-on. Okay, this is another picture of solar mounted. There was one definition just to give you an idea about residential rooftops are 1 to 5 kilowatt. They are called solar bees. like they're like that. Then 10 to 500 is solar pigeons, then horses, then elephants, and they have some definition has been given. Then I'll share with you, if you want to go through the details, this is the regulation we have made, and you can, oh god, anyway, you will get it. Then there is some concept called aggregate net metering, right? So here what we did, uh, one of our consumer has availed it in Puducherry ashram. You might have heard. In ashram they have got 5 6 buildings there nearby, but the roof on one of the building is really big. So what we said, you can combine the load of all these, put the solar plant on one roof, adjust the solar power against the consumption of that building, then go to the next building, then go to the next building. So all that is allowed. Uh, we are all engineers, so need not, but these are the important things. So we have to go for combine. Just to give you an idea what I went through the exercise. What I went through the exercise. This is my rooftop of my house, right? So behind this is south side, which is 3 story, right? On my east side is a 4 storied house. That is, sun will come in the morning. At in the morning, east side is blocked. Then it goes to south. It will take its own time to reach. North is tree. So finally, and I do not want to cover whole of the roof. This is the wall on the east. So these were the limitations I had given it to my designer. And I said you cannot do more than this because I want this portion to be open so that I should be able to sit in the sun. This is my electrical consumption I had noted down, and what I noted down when I had gone in for solar plant, in one slab, of course I have got 2 meters, in one slab I was consuming, which was for 200, I was consuming full 2400, and another slab 2400, third slab was 2846 in 1 year. Rates at that time were 828, 46, 75, 454, like that. So what I wanted to do was, I wanted to take off these two slabs so that uh, this slab rate goes down because it is getting adjusted straight away. So I decided to go in for 1.9. Actually, I should have written 9.2. It is 9.8. Wrongly written. Okay. I gave him also what it could be looking like. Then one of the supplier came with an idea of 1.6 kilowatt. Of course, now 1.92 has been done. You will ask me immediately, what is the performance of your unit? Very frankly, till this month, it has performed only 60% because it is always dusty. I have no time to get it. When some people say it is 4 kilowatt hours per kilowatt per day, it is not correct. These are the two panels. What I have done in between, I've kept the space so that if somebody goes up for cleaning, we can clean it easily. Originally, they were thinking of clubbing it, but then if I club it, I cannot. Then it becomes 3 panels, and I extended it on both the sides, kept the gap in between, and cleaning becomes easy. So this is an inverter at the bottom of that. Now, what is the rate? Next question you might be asking. I spent 1.02 lakhs in 2018, and today the rates have come down. In fact, in Delhi there are competitive rates. You can go to anybody, and he will have to give you the same rate. supposing you start generating power and start supplying, then there is a levelized tariff uh, in these areas which were our territories. We were giving like this 4.98 rupees per unit. Chandigarh 5 point, because CUF is different at all the places. And what we did in Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep, he gave them a higher return on equity and allowed them higher interest rate, etc., etc. So this is what rate we are giving. But if there is some industry who wants to uh, avail the accelerated benefit, which is about 40% nowadays, so then his rate gets reduced by this amount and it cuts for, and this is for the wind. So you will see that wind and solar is quite close to each other. This is the CUF we worked out in all those places. Actually, in 2012, there was a study by IIT Delhi. They calculated 18% all through. But when I had got the data from the solar plants installed by various discoms at various places or various customers, I found in fact Chandigarh was giving only 12%. Again, I found out the reason Sarkari hai, so nobody is bothered about cleaning them. So these are the CUF. Then MNRE is looking for a major grid or 100 kilowatt rural grid where there can be battery backup, but it has not come up. It was planned for 2015, now it will be in 2020. I am just only hinting that we talk of blockchain of various things. Blockchain is possible here and now. What is going on? It's a separate subject to be debated. I am not debating today. Another is grid penetration. I'm coming close to finishing. Grid penetration. So at one time I was talking about not more than 30% is allowed. But then various people have started studying it, and in fact, we also increased it to 75%. GIZ of Germany came, they said up to 75% you can go, etc., etc. So we allowed. So Maharashtra is allowing only 15%. Delhi is allowing only 15%. Karnataka has progressive 80% has come. Kerala is 80%.
We have completed 1 hour.
Yeah,
It is
finishing.
better be open for the questions.
Yeah, I'm finishing. Okay, at what rate the voltage should be, infused? That is also indicated. That's all. This is.
This is Narasimhalu. I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
Sir.
See, all over India, the solar power as penetration has happened.
Right.
Percentage, okay. Can you tell how much power is being generated by state-wise? Is there a statistics available?
Yes, it is available, and you will have
this
to
is a question
time.
From
Narasimhalu.
Mr. G. Narasimhalu.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Yeah. Life member, okay. Chennai chapter, right?
Sir, even if you are not life member, I'll give you. It's like this. I will give you state-wise how much power, how much megawatts have been installed, and it's not immediately available. As I told you, I'm disconnected for almost 13 months from this sector. But yes, penetration is less on solar rooftop, but bigger power stations have come in various places. I will send it to our friend. So he will pass it on to you, sir.
Sir, no issue, sir. Sir, another question is it's a follow-up question on the presentation. Sir,
yeah.
This is Narasimhalu again. Sir, this solar power panels, what percentage is domestically made? Because it is following our Prime Minister talk, we should indigenize our making. but what percentage of items are available in India apart from labor for fixing
See,
it and assembling it, all those things? The key
see,
component, what percentage it is available in India? Can you please elaborate
uh,
on that? Thank you.
it is available in India 100%, but it is not available to the quantities we are required to install. And in fact, there was a question here. There is a debate going on between Australia and China. In fact, the two are fighting. Uh, they said Australia should leave business with China. It's a big question was asked, and then he said, "Where do we go? Do we go to India?" So if we go to India, India components are embedded with Chinese components. So what I'm trying to say is panels are there. BHL makes complete panels, fine. But then the total requirements of India cannot be met by 2, 3 companies. We are only about 10% of our requirements. We have still
Thank
to
you.
depend upon.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Good
Next
morning,
question is from our Mr. M.G. Podwal, our
Podwal
past
sir,
National Vice
namaste.
President Headquarters. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, sir.
When you
Right,
ask
sir.
the question, you can switch on
Yes, I have
your
one question.
video.
सर हाँ फोटो दिखाइए सर.
हाँ, पोडवाल साहब है यहाँ पे.
हाँ पोडवाल साहब की फोटो दिखाइए सर.
ये रहा.
Greetings to everybody.
Yeah.
Shaulaji,
Yes sir. Yes sir.
what is the minimum size of a commercially viable solar plant size?
I mean even 1 kilowatt is viable.
No, but commercially when you work out at the land cost and all other things, we
Okay.
attempted even a 2.5 megawatt. Finally, it is not working out at all.
No, I will tell you here. It's like this. Where you want to put up, when you see the rates available in the market, 2 rupees 30 paisa, 3 rupees 10 paisa, 3 rupees 5 paisa. I think I used one term before also. It is the financial engineering. What more is being given to you free? Is the land being given to you free, or the interest is being given to you under MSME or whatever? In one of the cases, in 2007, I was intending to put up 1 megawatt in Punjab. And do you know what is the rate of per acre in Punjab? 5 crores per acre, and 5 acres are required 25 crores, right? So, or should we not go? As far as this plant was concerned, it was not becoming viable. What we raised the height of the solar plant because Punjab land is very fertile. We put up floriculture under it, and floriculture was giving us more turnover than the solar plant. Again, you will say, why the hell you went over there? That location, that city was so important that tomorrow that land was going to be very expensive. In fact, the plot of land is just adjoining the substation. That means there is a one wall. Technically, you have to lift the power and hand it over to that side. I mean, theoretically. So, viable is the facilities being given to you, cost of land, etc., etc. Or if you are able to get roof, supposing you go to somebody private school, give me the space on the roof, and you are able to strike a deal. Fine. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Shaulaji, I think I'll interact with you separately on this.
Yeah.
What you explained is understandable.
Sure.
Thank you, Podwal ji. Next question
Sir.
from Mr. Ganesh.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chawla sir. How are you? This is
बस
Ganesh.
बढ़िया सर आप बताइए.
Nice presentation. I have our general question. Like we are planning to do this solar power for our building, but how we manage the rainy season and very cloudy time when you don't get a solar power much, and what we use the power, or what way we can manage it?
Okay. See, when I told you the 18% capacity utilization factor, that takes care of rainy days, that takes care of cloudy days, that also takes care of the night time. So 20%, approximately 1/5 of the time, 1/5 of 24 hours spread evenly on. You get me? किसी दिन आपको 8 घंटे मिलेंगे, you get for 8 hours, for 10 hours. Other days you will not get for even 2 hours of the year.
So we have to store it in a
This is
battery.
Narasimhalu again. Sir, can I ask a question?
I think let him continue with one explanation, then you can. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's so. That means we have to store it battery and use it according to the.
No. Unless your applications are good, you must be having the grid supply, dependent grid supply in that case. But if grid supply is not stable, then going for battery, because battery today is very expensive.
Very expensive. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ganesh ji. Next question from Mr. Dr. Sitaram Raju. Sitaramu, our CPR ex-director from
Okay,
Bangalore, joining, sir.
Hanji, sir.
Hello, Dr. Ishpal.
Hanji, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Quite nice. Chala Saab, I think we had a very nice presentation.
I don't know. In fact, I will call it much below par, because I didn't have all the material over here.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
We have been looking into all these issues at CPRI, and especially the heat and dust problems. I also have a solar PV, and then there are so many issues that varies from state to state.
Right.
And it's really wonderful. And now the electric vehicles are coming in a big way, and then how best I think we can coordinate this activity. That's a different scene. I think we need to stay in touch and interact more and more. I think there are a lot of professionals in this group. I think we have to come out with something really wonderful. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let me
Next
add one
question
thing.
from our senior
Let me add
member.
one
Please
thing.
introduce yourself
Okay.
and ask the question, sir. Please.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kishore Agarwal wants to ask the question. Kishore, yeah, please come.
Yes. Sir, good afternoon, sir. It's a
Hanji,
nice
go ahead.
presentation, very informative.
No, I have.
Sir,
Please mention your name, sir.
myself, Kishore Agrawal.
Hanji, sir.
I am from Maharashtra chapter, Mumbai.
Right, sir.
Please go
My
ahead, sir.
question is, in present day, I think for bigger solar power plant, they are giving at a rate of 1.5 rupees per unit the delivery of the power.
Okay.
Whether it will continue or it will reduce the rate in future. And
See.
second question, sir. Second question.
Okay.
What earlier one of our eminent person asked, the manufacturing in India. Sir, most of the manufacturing, this PV panel and other panel, etc., they are shifted mostly to Vietnam and other countries.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll answer that.
And sir, third question, very small. As an individual, how much it will cost, sir, per unit that suppose a 1.5 kilowatt or 2 kilowatt at a house rooftop, how much it will cost per individual?
Okay.
We have another two participants to have questions, sir.
Fine. Number one, let me give you the very small question. 2 kilowatt or 1.5. Today rate is something around 60,000 rupees. 45,000 rupees per kilowatt installation, roughly. Again, Maharashtra, what is the rate? That is in Delhi. That you have to find out. Number one. Number two, you said rates will further go down or not. I think because, my personal opinion, because of pandemic, things have really gone bad. Factories will restart, whether they will keep distancing, etc., etc. The rates are not likely to fall. In fact, the whole market for every damn thing is going to go higher. This is my personal feeling, right?
Yeah.
Third, you said that manufacturing in India is not coming and they are going to Vietnam. Again, it is ease of doing business. How much we keep on talking about that thing, but when it comes to giving facilities, I used to meet one of the Japanese who used to come. On first day, he will be having, tie, and he says, India has opened up the power sector. One window clearance. Then he says, one window, if you enter the window, there are windows and windows, windows and windows, windows and windows. And when he will meet me after 1 month, his tie will be open and he is too tired. He says, okay, I'm going back. So we have to do many things. Otherwise, Vietnam and all these people will take the business away. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Next,
sir.
I
Thank you.
call Mr. Ramanujam, our senior member, to put his question.
Hi, sir.
Please go ahead, sir.
What will be the material used for this solar panel?
Material used, see, thin films had come. Actually, it is a continuous changing technology. Bifacial, this thing it is silicon wafer, and then depending on how they want to connect it, how they want to show it, and then how do they want to face it to solar. So it is basically silicon, which is available in abundance in China.
Domestically available?
Very less, very less.
Oh.
Okay.
Then-
Thank you so much, sir.
The maintenance cost, sir.
Right, sir.
Next question
Thank you,
from
sir.
Mr. Vijay Prakash, our Honorary Secretary of Telangana and AP chapter.
Hanji, sir.
Please go ahead,
Sir,
sir.
all-
Mr. Vijay Prakash.
All big people are.
Everybody,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, I have already installed 1 kilowatt is running. I want to
Okay.
get, that time it was only domestic, only 1 kilowatt was available. Now I
Okay.
want to increase it to higher wattage so that I can utilize for the entire building.
Right. So it's
How
possible.
it is possible.
No, it is possible. All is you have to put addition because it is a modular section. Whatever the panel sizes have now reduced for the same wattage. So
Yeah.
technically it will not be modular, but you can add on.
Okay.
You can add on. There's no problem.
You have to change the inverter.
No. Don't change the inverter. Otherwise, that might become again. Can go into economics of that. Supposing you are going for 2 more kilowatts. So